Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Just a quick motivational quote. You miss all the shots you don't take. So anyway, we're going to go on to our math project. And Brandon Young and I, we are predicting the Stanley Cup playoffs 2013. So let's get into it. First game is Blackhawks and the Wild. And in the regular season, they tied 2-2. But we're going to give it to the Blackhawks because they had an amazing start to their season. So the Blackhawks will advance to the next round. On to the next game, we have the Blues and Kings. Well, the Kings, they took 3 out of the 4 games. But, it's the Cup. And upsets happen. So we're going to give this to the Blues. Moving on to the Canucks and the Sharks. The Sharks took 3 games out of 3. But we just feel like that the Canucks are going to move on because they've done good in the playoffs in the past and they're trying to redeem themselves from last year. So we're going to go with the upset once again as we have the Canucks moving on. Then we're on to the Ducks and the Wings, and this was a tough one for us because we are Wings fans, but the Ducks, they're a much better team right now. The Wings just slid into the playoffs, and in the regular season, they split the series 2-2. And we're going to give this to the Wings because we feel like they're going to pull through. So moving on, we have the Blackhawks and the Blues and the Canucks and the Wings. For the Blackhawks and the Blues, they played each other 5 times in the regular season, and the Blackhawks beat the Blues 3 out of the 5 times. So we're going to give it to the Blackhawks once again, as they had an amazing start, as we speak of it again. They're going 13-0 in regulation. So we're going to give that to the Blackhawks. And then we're going to go on to the Canucks and the Wings. Now this was a hard one again because we are Wings fans. The Wings went 2-1 out of the 3-game series. And this was tough, man. I think the Canucks are going to pull through because the Wings, they just slid into the playoffs. So we're going to give it to the Canucks. So moving on, we have the Blackhawks and the Canucks. And the Blackhawks and the Canucks, the Canucks won 2 out of 3, which was actually quite surprising. They had the best record against the Hawks. So we were debating on this one for quite a while. It was about 30 minutes. Not really that long. But we're going to give this to the Blackhawks because they're going strong right now, and if everybody stays healthy, looks like they're doing good. So that's your Western Conference, and we'll move on to the Eastern Conference. Okay, so the Eastern Conference, your first game, we have the Penguins and the Islanders. We picked the Penguins because out of the 5 games, the Penguins won 4 out of the 1, so that's quite intriguing. So the Penguins will get that one. Moving on to the Bruins and the Leafs. Cheats, you're going to get mad at us for this one, but we're going to have to pick the Bruins as they won 3 out of the 4 times in the regular season. So, we move on to the Capitals and the Rangers. And we're going to pick the Capitals now. This was a tough one because the Capitals only won once out of the 3 times. But, as I said before, it's the Cup and upsets happen. So we're going to go with the Capitals. Then we have the Canadiens and the Senators. And this one, it was thrown out there. We didn't really know who was going to win. So we just took a shot in the dark and we went with the Canadiens as the series was tied 2-2 out of the 4 they played in the regular season. So as we move along, we have the Penguins and the Bruins. And the Penguins swept the Bruins 3 out of the 3 games that they played. And if Sidney Crosby stays healthy, we'll give it to the Penguins. So then we have the Capitals and the Canadiens, and the Capitals and the Canadiens. The Capitals won 2 out of the 3, and Alex Ovechkin, he's on the grind right now, the bubble. But we'll give it to the Capitals, and it's basically another upset. So as we go along, we got the Penguins and the Capitals, and the Penguins swept the Capitals 3-0. But, the Capitals, like I said, they can stay healthy. They might have a good chance of moving on because Sidney Crosby, he is just getting back from a dreadful injury. So we're going to give it to the Capitals. And that leaves us with the Blackhawks and the Capitals in the 2013 Stanley Cup championship game. And this was a tough one. The Blackhawks having a strong start to the season and the shortened season because of the lockout. But, we're just going to have to give this to the Capitals because they've been fighting for this. They wanted the playoff game for a long time. So, we're going to give it to the Capitals. And that was our Stanley Cup prediction. So, we're going to move on to the NHL 13 Xbox predictions. And we're going to give the mic to BY.
Alright, so when we plugged these into the Xbox 360, their predictions were kind of similar to ours. We don't know why, but as the Blackhawks and Wild play, the Blackhawks moved on, as we said they would. Then the Blues and the Kings played, but they actually had the Kings moving on instead of the Blues. And we're not sure why, but, it might happen. We don't know. Canucks and Sharks. They had the Sharks winning, we had the Canucks winning, so, I don't know, they were a little different than us. The Ducks and Wings played each other, and we both had the Wings moving on. Then go back up to the Blackhawks versus Kings. They had the Kings moving on, which is, I don't know. I think the Blackhawks will win, though, because of their strong start to the season, and they probably might overpower the Kings. And then we got the Sharks and the Wings playing, and Sharks, I guess, will take that over. I'm not sure about that because, we're Wings fans. We play hockey.
Go Wings!
Then we got the Kings and the Sharks, and obviously they have the Kings going over the Sharks. I guess that's, all right. Then over on this side we got Penguins and Islanders. They had the Islanders moving on, which is different than us, but we don't know. So Bruins, Leafs, they have the Leafs. Cheech, there you go. I guess you can be a little happy with the Xbox. Capitals and Rangers, they had the Capitals moving on. We had the Capitals moving on. Canadians, Senators, we had the Canadians moving on. They had the Canadians moving on. And that's just perfect because we're smart. Me and AJ are smart kids. Islanders and Leafs, they have the Leafs moving on. Cheech, I guess Xbox likes you today. Capitals, Canadians, same as us. Capitals moving on. Then they had the Capitals beating the Leafs, which is much more likely because the Leafs are not that good. So then they have the Capitals and the Kings in the finals, and they have the LA Kings winning it once again in 2013 for the NHL Stanley Cup. And there you go, folks. That is the predictions, and the reasons why we did this project is because there is certain amount of likeliness of teams winning because in the regular season they had their games against each other, and whoever won most out of however many games they played, that is how we predicted. And yeah, so that is our project.
And just for proof that we did play NHL 13, there's the disc right there, and there's the game right there. And that will wrap it up. So there's BY and his cool bro tang, and that'll do it.